Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Yesterday, a bombshell was dropped on the wrestling world, and I had to completely rearrange the main topic of my show and completely rearrange my thought pattern. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Now we are here on the most glorious day of the week, and I think everybody knows what day I'm about to say. Everybody knows that Saturday! You know what that means. We're live! Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you right here to the greatest fucking show on earth. This is the official Lightning Flash update for Saturday, July 23rd, 2022. And as of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known Oh my God, do you smell that? Can you smell that? What is that? You might ask, what is that? That right there, people, is the smell of excellence. Wait for it. Oh, wait for it. To mankind! Oh yeah, baby! This is the day the Lord has made. Let all the earth rejoice. And I think most of you know exactly what I'm talking about. But before we get into that, let me catch my breath. Definitely needed that. Now, why don't we take a look in the chat right now and see what's going on. I see we got Normal Guy. We got Alan Holland Jr. We got DJ Sums. We also got Peanuts. We have a lot of material to dissect and a lot of material to talk about. And I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you coming on into the channel. It's going to be a really fun time. That is for sure. But first things first. I want everybody to be aware that we are streaming live on 6 different social media platforms. This includes my YouTube channel, the Hardcore Sports YouTube channel. This also includes my Twitter, Hardcore Sports Twitter. And it also includes the Hardcore Sports Twitch and the DJ Storms Posse Facebook page. Now, we are going to get into the festivities in just a little bit. But first things first. People, if you haven't already done so, there is a very, very vital thing that everybody must do. If you guys are watching from my channel, I need y'all to go and migrate to the Hardcore Sports channel. go to the Hardcore Sports channel and hit the like button on the Hardcore Sports channel. It's insanely vital that you do so, because if you don't, then we're going to have a little bit of a problem. You need to be on the Hardcore Sports channel, and you need to like the video there, because that way it helps out Hardcore Sports. So if you're on my channel, go and like the Hardcore Sports channel, and vice versa. We have goals that we want to reach, so we want to keep those goals rolling. So far, I see 7 likes on the Hardcore Sports channel. I think we can do better than that. We have a lot of people watching, and I know for a fact you guys can do better. So go over to the Hardcore Sports channel right now, people. Peanuts and Earl Cole and Dee Dee and Adam Carl, everyone, go over to the Hardcore Sports channel and like it. It's insanely vital that you do so, and vice versa. Now, please make sure, if you haven't already done so, please make sure that you follow me on social media. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HistoryMakerDJS. That is at HistoryMakerDJS. You can also follow me on Facebook as well for collaborations and business inquiries. Please send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Please make sure that you like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. That is, all of those links are in the description of the Twitch stream. Actually, I don't think they're in the description of the Twitch stream. I think they're in the description of the Facebook stream. They're in the description of the YouTube stream on my channel and on the Hardcore Sports channel as well. Please make sure, if you haven't already done so, check out the rundown for Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor. That is live on all of the social media platforms, whether it be on Twitch or Facebook or Twitter or YouTube. That is live right now on the channel. We went over everything that's going down tonight. Tony Khan actually added a few more matches, so I didn't really get to dissect those matches, but they were kind of just added out of nowhere. They don't really have a lot of storyline build going into them. But regardless, please go and check out the rundown for Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor. So that way you can help the channel out. You can help me out as well. You'll hear my expertise, preview, and predictions, all of my analysis going into tonight's major event for Ring of Honor and everything that could possibly come out of the event. Speaking of Ring of Honor, we also got the rewind for Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor. That is tomorrow. That's right. That is tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. I see we got 11 likes on the Hardcore Sports channel thus far. Very, very good. I think you guys could still do a little bit better. So go over to the Hardcore Sports YouTube channel, hit that like button. We have a lot to get into, and I mean a shit ton to get into. We're going to cap off the news and rumors with the major bombshell that dropped yesterday afternoon. I didn't even know what to think of it. I got so many phone calls and voicemails and DMs. My social medias were blowing up with what happened yesterday. Trust me, we will address the elephant in the room. But please make sure, tune in tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern Time on all these social media platforms for the official rewind for Death Before Dishonor. Next Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Mr. Michkovsky, who is currently in the chat right now, Mr. Michkovsky, will be joining me. He will be joining me on the channel. Once again, he's coming in to help me preview and predict WWE SummerSlam. That is right. He's coming on to help me predict SummerSlam 2022. We're going to dissect everything that's going down next Saturday on pay-per-view, a.k.a. Peacock, at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So please make sure, if you haven't already done so, set your calendar dates for next Thursday. Next Saturday, of course, with the LFU. And then July 31st is, of course, the rewind for SummerSlam 2022 at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on all these platforms. Next Thursday, the Thursday of August 4th, 2 Thursdays coming up. That's going to be the rundown for AEW Battle of the Belts Part 3. And then that following Tuesday on August 9th, Tuesday, my apologies. Thursday, August 4th is the rundown. And then Tuesday, August 9th would be the rewind for both Battle of the Belts Part 3. So set your calendar dates for that. We got a lot of streams coming on. We have a lot of material with DJ Storms and Hardcore Sports that we're going to get into. Lots of collaborations. And I greatly appreciate everyone that's stopping by the channel or Twitter or Twitch right here today. We got Mitch, we got Earl, we got DJ Sums, we got AK Eagles Podcast, we got Jeffrey Turner, we got Dee, we got Adam Carl, we got a lot of people. I think we could still get more. So before I tell you what I need to tell you next, obviously, you need to follow Hardcore Sports. You take a look at all the social media platforms right down here at the bottom. We got Twitch, Hardcore Sports 1. That's on Twitch, streaming live right now. We got the Hardcore Sports Instagram, Hardcore Sports Network. We got Hardcore Sports Twitter, Hardcore Sports N, and then the Hardcore Sports YouTube channel, which I'm on right now. Check out all of these social media platforms as well. All the links are in the description. Please make sure, if you haven't already done so, hit the like button on the stream. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitch, if you're on Twitter, if you're on Facebook, I need you guys to all like or heart whatever stream, whatever platform that you're watching the stream from, like it. Like it. It is insanely vital that you like it. Everyone needs to like it, and everyone needs to make sure everyone knows that DJ Storms is live on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch, on Facebook. It's extremely vital that you do so. And of course, if you're on my channel, head on over to the Hardcore Sports channel, hit the like button there, and vice versa. Please make sure you do that. Of course, be sure to share out the stream on all platforms, social media. I'm talking Twitter, I'm talking Instagram, I'm talking Pinterest and Tumblr and Snapchat and TikTok and Tumblr, everything, every social media platforms that you may use. Please make sure you go and like it there and share it out. Share it out so that way we can get as many people in here as possible. We need as many people in here as possible because it's going to be a fucking celebration. We're letting the good times roll today, people. We're going to let a hell of a lot of good times roll because this is the day that many people are going to remember forever. Kenzie TV, greatly appreciate you stopping by and following the Twitch as well. Please make sure, if you haven't already done so, like the YouTube channel as well, both my channel and the Hardcore Sports channel. Very vital that you do so there. Of course, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button to the YouTube channels. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, hit it right now. Also, make sure you retweet it on Twitter and leave a comment on Facebook. Of course, when you hit the subscribe button here on YouTube, be sure that you hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, baby, it is the best time to be on YouTube. Because the only time you're going to get to see this glorious sideburn shin strap combination and this beautiful mustache right here. I think that Earl Cole has been waiting for this for about 13 minutes now. Earl, I didn't forget about you, man. I didn't forget about you. Earl Cole is also the newest member of Hardcore Sports. So, shout out to Earl Cole and congratulations to Earl Cole. This one's for you, Earl, and we're going to light it up right here on the channel, on Twitter, on Twitch, on Facebook with a little and a dash of and a whole lot of because like Campbell's soup, I'm so good. DJ Storms, he's the most tasty individual in the IWC. Holy shit, it's Hologram! It's Hologram. And we also got LGZ Productions. Hologram, LGZ Productions. Like it on Hardcore Sports and like the video on my channel as well. Check out the links in the description. You already know the spiel. Please make sure that you take a look at all these social media platforms because that way you will always know when DJ Storms is active. Everyone wants a piece of the Stormsmeister. Everybody needs a little bit of DJ Storms in their life. You know what I'm saying. Y'all know what I'm saying. We only have 11 likes on the Hardcore Sports channel. That's a problem. Hologram and LGZ Productions, go and like it. Go and like it. Go and like the Hardcore Sports stream. We want to get as many likes as I got for my debut. My debut got 132 views thus far. I think we can do better than that. So here's what I need y'all to do. Like it and share it out. And we're going to get into the festivities right now, actually. Now, I kind of feel like all of these preliminary reports that I read, I feel like it's kind of going to mean nothing, but I guess it's still very, very important to talk about. This report came out last weekend. According to Fightful Select, several women in WWE have been pushing for more TV time in recent months. Female talent, and I quote, from the bottom of the card all the way to the top, end quote, have reportedly been frustrated with the booking of the division. Oh, really now? Wow. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I didn't know this. This is news to me. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, he wrote, and I quote, one female talent on the WWE roster told at Fightful Select, it felt like Vince McMahon was more concerned with squeezing himself onto TV after the Wall Street Journal story than making sure the talent had got on TV, end quote. I mean, no shit. No shit. I've told you this before. Whatever Vince McMahon does in his personal life, whatever he thinks of women personally, and whatever has been going on, and all these stories that have been coming out, that's what he thinks of women. And you could see that just based off of the way he books the women's division. You don't even need all of these stories. You take a look at how Vince had booked the women's division for X amount of years, and you will see what Vince really thinks of women just by looking at the presentation of the division. Same thing with Bruce Pritchard. Bruce Pritchard would run the WWE and is currently still running the WWE because he's still in power. He's currently running the shows just like Vince would. They see women as nothing more than eye candy. They want OnlyFans models. They want porn stars as pro wrestlers. I've been repeating this for God knows how long. This isn't news to me. This shouldn't be news to anyone. The one thing I find hilarious is the fact that now everyone is coming out in support of this report, but when Sasha and Naomi, when they decided to walk out and when they left the championships on John Laurinaitis' desk when he was still employed there, when they did that, everyone was coming out and they were bashing them and they were cursing them to the high heavens. They were verbally crucified. Sasha and Naomi were verbally crucified, but yet now everyone's coming out in support. It really goes to show you the fucking hypocrisy of everyone in the IWC. And I, quite frankly, am disgusted by a lot of people that they would come out in support of this, but they don't come out and support Sasha and Naomi. It goes to show you that everyone is two-faced. It goes to show you that everyone is absolutely brainwashed, and no one really gives a shit. I'm one of the very few people that actually give a shit. Now people are complaining. Now the women want to complain. Now the women want better because now they realize that Sasha and Naomi were correct. What I'm waiting for after a report like this, I'm waiting for a fucking apology to be issued, not just by fans, not just by reporters, but by WWE and the locker room to Sasha and Naomi. But I know that that's never going to happen because WWE would never do anything in a sense that would make them look bad. WWE needs to be prim, proper, and perfect. They need to have a great public image. They'll never admit that they were wrong because that would be pretty much admitting defeat. And WWE can't look like they were defeated. No one in WWE can look weak, at least on the management side of things. Everyone else below can look as weak as a fucking feather from a fucking pillow. This isn't news to me. I have been wanting women's wrestling to improve in WWE forever. And it was. And then as soon as Ronda Rousey left the first time around, they went right back to doing what they were doing before Ronda Rousey came in. And it goes to show you that WWE didn't give a shit about women's wrestling. All they cared about was making quick money. Vince McMahon saw dollar signs whenever he looked at Ronda Rousey. He didn't care about this empowerment of women's wrestling. WWE never presented women's wrestling in a must-see light. All they cared about was using Ronda and this women's wrestling narrative and agenda to make money. I've been saying this ever since Ronda Rousey left. I've been saying this ever since Ronda Rousey came on in. It was never about empowering women. It was always about generating money. And they rode the wheel for as long as they could before Ronda left. Now she's back again with WWE because Fox wanted her. Here we are. I'm not surprised at this at all, but I don't feel sorry for anyone that is coming out and saying that they're frustrated when the majority of these individuals, 99% of them, they bashed Sasha and Naomi. I love when karma comes around to bite people in the ass. I got an interesting report from Louis Dangor. I have no idea. I still don't know how the fuck to pronounce this guy's name. I don't watch Wrestle Talk, so I don't know how the fuck he pronounces his name. Quite frankly, I don't care because the guy's a fucking retard anyway. But Louis Dangor of Wrestle Talk, he reported that Solo Sikoa will most likely be on the main roster after SummerSlam. It's still not decided whether or not he'll be paired with the Usos, end quote. I don't understand why they would not pair him with the Usos if he's getting called up. Solo Sikoa is the perfect fourth man for the Bloodline. Naomi, clear as day, is not coming back, and they're not on the internal roster is Sasha and Naomi. And if they're not on the internal roster anymore, who is there left to add to the Bloodline? Solo Sikoa. You want Solo Sikoa to be added to the Bloodline? He's the perfect mid-card guy for the Bloodline. But I don't understand why you're even contemplating not adding him to the Usos and Roman Reigns' gimmick when he's part of their family and he fits into the family heritage character that they're portraying. But more importantly, I don't even know why they're deciding to call up Solo Sikoa this early. Solo Sikoa has only been in NXT for not even a year. In October, it'll be a year. But he's not ready yet. Are you getting that feeling that he's ready? I watch NXT on a weekly basis just for the simple fact of me keeping myself aware. I barely even cover it anymore. I can only say that I've probably covered maybe 4 to 5 episodes of NXT in the last 6 months. 4 to 5 episodes of NXT in the last 6 months. That's it. I don't care about NXT. I don't cover it. I just watch it to keep myself aware of what's going on, who could potentially get called up, and who is progressing and who is not. Solo Sikoa is progressing, but he's not progressing at the rate of, yeah, he's ready for the main roster. He's not a Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens was a once-in-a-lifetime and currently is a once-in-a-lifetime type guy. Kevin Owens came up to the main roster and he translated immediately. You're never, ever going to have another scenario like what you had with Kevin Owens when he came in, dropped John Cena, and then 2 weeks later beat John Cena in his first main roster match. There's no way anyone is going to have a bigger impact on the main roster like what Kevin Owens had. No one. Absolutely no one. Solo Sikoa, if he was paired with the Usos, they would help him. They would help him grow. They would help him learn the ropes. They would help him get better in the ring. They would help him get better on the microphone. They would help him grow and get accustomed to the main roster life. If they don't pair him with the Usos on television, then you're really going to see whether Solo Sikoa is going to sink or swim. And if he's being pushed to the forefront on his own when he's clearly not ready for a big major singles role position like that, then you could very well run the risk of the fans turning on him. You were this close to having him do that with Braun Breaker. But they scaled back on that. And they absolutely cut that shit down. And Braun Breaker is not in a bad position anymore. He still doesn't feel as special as when he did at the beginning of the year when he first won the championship, but he's in a much better position now. I will say that. But you do not want to fucking run the risk of potentially fucking up Solo Sikoa when we know that Solo Sikoa has the potential to be a major fucking star for years to come. He's got the look, he's got the heritage, he's got the promo ability when he's on, and he's very good in the ring. He's had some fucking great matches in NXT with Gunther, and he was a part of that great ladder match at NXT Stand and Deliver. He had a very good match with Grayson Waller. He's had a very good match with Cameron Grimes. He's very good at what he does. Really, really good. But you do not want to shove him into the public spotlight and shove him down everyone's throats too quickly. So I honestly hope that if he does get called up to the main roster, they are going to pair him with the Usos and the Bloodline. I actually hope he doesn't get called up at all. He needs another year down there. I want to see him win a North American Championship. I think he would be the perfect guy to take the North American Championship off of Carmelo Hayes. So that's what's going on with Solo Sikoa. I hope everyone is enjoying the stream thus far. Let us check the chat. We got 13 likes. 13 likes on the Hardcore Sports channel. How you doing, Jamar Games? Appreciate you stopping by. If you haven't already done so, people, like on the Hardcore Sports YouTube channel and like on my YouTube channel as well. And share it out on all platforms of social media. Get as many people in here as possible, because at the end, we're talking about the big bombshell, and you are not going to want to miss that. I got a report on Io Shirai. Apparently, Io Shirai kind of debunked the rumors that she was potentially leaving the WWE from the Wrestling Observer newsletter. She debunked them a couple weeks back. So according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, they followed up by stating, and I quote, that those who know Io Shirai from Japan said she went to WWE with the goal of making the main roster and believe she would stay with WWE with a main roster deal. Now, I admire Io Shirai's ambition. I admire her courage. I admire her willingness to relocate and to leave her family in Japan and to go and make a name for herself in the United States, because this is the land of opportunity. I get it. I understand that. I admire that. But again, if she honestly believes, even right now, even after the big bombshell, I do not see her succeeding on the main roster right now. It is going to take a long, long time for any of us to believe that women or anyone like Io Shirai is going to succeed. I hope she does. Honest to God, I hope that she proves us wrong. Considering that they have lost so many top-tier women, Sasha, Naomi, Ty Conti, Ruby Soho, Athena, so on and so forth, considering they lost that many people, they can't afford to lose Io Shirai. Io Shirai right now, by default, is the best women's wrestler in the company. Not Charlotte, it's not Becky, it's not Liv Morgan, it's not Ronda, it's not Bayley, it's Io Shirai. By default, she's the best women's wrestler in the company right now. And with the recent bombshells that dropped, I'd like to hope that they have massive plans to call her up, have her be the next top-tier act in the women's division, have her win the fucking Women's Royal Rumble next year, and she is fighting for the championship at WrestleMania. That is what I would do. Her and Bianca. Io wins the Women's Royal Rumble. Bianca is the undisputed women's champion at that time, and Bianca is the one to take that title into WrestleMania and drop it to Io Shirai. That would be the best possible plan. So listen, I don't have any faith right now. Maybe that could change. We'll have to wait and see. But Io Shirai, she looks to be staying with the company. They can't afford to lose her. Moving on here, we got a report on why the Bucks and FTR, that match is currently on hold. That match has been held off because of a very major angle. Many people speculated that with the Bucks beating Jurassic Express back at Road Rager to become the first ever two-time AEW Tag Team Champions, many people speculated that the Bucks were going to take those titles into All Out. And we were going to have a Young Bucks versus FTR match for all the championships. This would be the third encounter between the Young Bucks and FTR, but that is being held off because Kenny Omega's in-ring return is reportedly going to be at All Out, where he will team with the Young Bucks, and the speculation is that we will very well see the Bucks and Omega versus Adam Cole and Red Dragon. I have been wanting this match for a long time. I really have. I've been wanting this match for a long time, and this is a big, and I mean this is a big fucking deal. And you know why this is a big fucking deal? Not only are we going to be on the verge of getting potentially the greatest six-man tag team match of all time. The greatest six-man tag team match of all time was heralded as The Shield and the Wyatts from Elimination Chamber 2014. I remember exactly where I was when I watched that match, February of 2014. I remember I was watching it with my grandparents' old dog, Maxie, was a small little dog, and I remember watching it in my sister's room with my dad. We got the pay-per-view in her room, and I remember watching that match, and I was absolutely blown away. That was the greatest six-man tag team match of all time thus far. Omega and the Bucks with Adam Cole and Red Dragon could very well top that. And if that's the case, not only are we going to get the greatest six-man tag team match of all time, but this opens up the door for other tag teams to mix it up with FTR and other teams to mix it up fighting for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. The Bucks didn't need the championships. FTR right now, they don't need the championships because they are just so great at what they do on their own. This opens up the door for FTR to face off against some other tag teams. We got FTR and the Briscoes Part 2 tonight. 2 out of 3 falls match. And I know a lot of people are going to be watching that shit. That's going to be fucking insane. I know a lot of people are going to be watching that. And I know a lot of people are also going to be watching the Bucks and Omega versus Adam Cole and Red Dragon. But now this could open up the door for FTR to potentially face off against some tag teams from New Japan Pro Wrestling. I have a tag team in mind that I would love to see them face off against. I don't really know what's going on with them, but if I was Tony Khan, I would call down the Gorillas of Destiny from New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I would bring them in to fight FTR at All Out for the IWGP World Tag Team Championships. I would love to see that. They could do that. Maybe we can get the Good Brothers from Impact coming on over. They could fight FTR. This could open up a wide variety of tag teams for FTR to face. I know a lot of people would love to see the Gorillas of Destiny versus FTR or the Good Brothers versus FTR. And you know that Tony Khan, being the individual that he is, being the individual that he is to create these brilliant partnerships between all these wrestling promotions with Impact and NWA and Forbidden Door and Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling. You know that Tony Khan wants to branch out and have FTR face as many top tag teams in the world right now. If FTR right now, they're on the run of their life, they want to go down as the best of all time, they got to beat all the top tier tag teams in the world. And the Gorillas of Destiny, they're one of them. I know a lot of people would love to see that. That would be my prediction. Gorillas of Destiny versus FTR for the IWGP Tag Team titles at All Out. Another good thing is the fact that now that Swerve and Lee are the tag team champions, which, by the way, I'm very happy about, pairing them together was one of the best decisions that Tony Khan has probably ever made. They're such a great fucking tag team. Really are. This opens up the door for new tag teams to come up through the rankings to fight Swerve and Lee. Maybe we could very well see Best Friends rise up through the rankings, or the Gun Club, or the Acclaimed. They could rise up through the rankings. Maybe we see the Gates of Agony make their way onto AEW television. Maybe we see them take on Swerve and Lee. Maybe we see Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks get another opportunity. Maybe we see 2.0 mix it up. Maybe we see the Blackpool Combat Club mix it up. A lot of different ways that they can go. Really. A lot of different ways that they could go. But this is going to open up the door for a lot of tag teams that really haven't gotten the proper opportunity. Butcher and Blade is another one of them. Dark Order is another one of them. This is going to open up the door for a lot of tag teams that have not gotten the proper opportunity yet. This is going to open up the door for them. House of Black. You could see the House of Black inevitably fight for the tag team titles down the line. There's a lot of different scenarios that we could very well be subjected to now that Kenny Omega is reportedly coming back to team with the Bucks. This is a great thing. And a lot of people should be open to this because it benefits more than just Kenny Omega and the Bucks. This is a great thing. And I honestly hope that Kenny Omega is indeed set to return it All Out for this big six-man tag team match. Couple of big reports from AEW Dark. We saw Cole Carter, according to J.J. Williams of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, a.k.a. the former Troy Two Dimes Donovan from NXT 2.0, make his debut on the AEW Dark tapings, as well as Parker Bordeaux. He's apparently teaming with Ari Daivari, the former Arya Daivari, and another guy, I can't remember. I think it may be Cole Carter as well. I think they're called the Trust Busters, if I'm not mistaken. I actually love that. This is a great thing. We get another faction. We get another tag team. The tag team division in AEW is getting deeper and deeper and deeper. This is a great thing to see. I love this. This is a great thing to see. I got a report on Gable Steveson. Gable Stevenson's been very quiet. We haven't seen much of him at all. The last time that we saw him was at WrestleMania, where he gave Chad Gable a belly-to-belly suplex after Chad Gable and Otis recently lost a triple threat tag team match for the Raw tag team titles, and they failed to reclaim the titles against RK Bro at WrestleMania. Apparently, on Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer discussed how Gable Stevenson's future with WWE is currently up in the air. You heard that correctly. Gable Steveson is currently considering returning to the University of Minnesota to compete for a third NCAA Wrestling Championship and possibly pursue another Olympic gold medal. Now, the one thing that I'm thinking about is this would ultimately make WWE's NIL program, once again, if Parker Bordeaux wasn't already the nail in the coffin, then if Gable Steveson ends up going back and he doesn't end up going to WWE, then at the end of the day, the NIL program will ultimately be considered an even bigger failure than it already is. You can't be doing this. You can't be taking people that don't have any wrestling experience and that be your only focus to recruit talent, because that right there is ultimately going to lead you to go downhill. And that's why the company has been going downhill. At the end of the day, WWE cannot, and I mean they cannot live off of simply gathering in non-wrestlers and turning them into wrestlers. You need to go to the indies. You need to go to the indies. That's what Triple H was doing. And now that Triple H is reportedly back in power, I'll believe it when I see it, but now that he's reportedly back in power, this could very well open up that door once again. This could open up a lot of possibilities with the bombshells that dropped. Because at the end of the day, all that we want collectively as fans is to see professional wrestling thrive. That's it. But Gable Steveson, I don't really care either way because he hasn't really shown me anything that interests me. He's not bad in the ring. His brother is actually showcasing more than he is. His brother, Damon Kemp in NXT, he's actually fairly okay. He's a part of Diamond Mine. He's not doing too bad for himself. It's a decent little supporting role down there for Damon Kemp. And he's not bad in the ring either. He's not that bad in the ring. He'll get better too. He doesn't really have all that much charisma. He's a very, very white meat, smiley baby face. But at the end of the day, he's not bad for the position that they've given him. But that's what's going on with Gable Steveson. We got two more reports to go into, one of them being the big report. Trust me on that. One of them being the big report. Shout out to Shooter in the chat. Shout out to Josh Brown. Please make sure, if you haven't already done so, people, hit that like button everywhere. Hit it on Twitter, hit it on Twitch, hit it on Facebook, and hit it on my channel and the Hardcore Sports channel. It's insanely vital that you do so. We got 15 likes on the Hardcore Sports channel, and we got 17 likes on my channel. I think we can do better. Guys, if you haven't already done so, from my channel, go over to the Hardcore Sports channel and hit the like button. If you're on the Hardcore Sports channel, go over to my channel and hit the like button. Vice versa. I want to be number one here. We got goals we want to reach. I want to get to at least 30 likes, okay? So again, if you're on my channel, go over to the Hardcore Sports channel and like it. If you're on the Hardcore Sports channel, go over to my channel and like my video. Vice versa. We got goals we want to reach, and share it out on all platforms of social media. WrestleVotes provided us an update on the internal feeling regarding the SummerSlam card. They tweeted out, in the most WWE of ways, I had a source tell me that this morning they really don't like the SummerSlam card. They, quote unquote, being the people who put it together. What? End quote. I mean, Do I need to say anything else? Do I honestly need to say anything else? Seriously. Do I need to say anything else? It is absolutely ridiculous. And what's more ironic is that, again, just like WrestleVote said, they fucking put it together. They fucking put it together. It's the most Bruce Pritchard thing I've ever seen. Legitimately. It is ridiculous. This is the most Bruce Pritchard thing that I've ever fucking seen. You put it together, then why didn't you actually put effort into the show? They've been doing this shit for years. They never put any effort into any show that they fucking do. Now, all of a sudden, you're mad and you're disappointed. You don't like what you put together. Meanwhile, you've been doing this for God knows how long. Now, you're just waking up to it? Why don't you actually put some effort into your shows? Then maybe you'd be pleased with the outcome. Maybe if you didn't fire 200 plus people over the course of the last 2 to 3 years, maybe you'd actually have a roster to operate with. And then maybe we wouldn't have to go forth with all these fucking rematches. We wouldn't have to go with Roman and Lesnar again. We wouldn't have to go with Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch again. We wouldn't have to go with the Street Profits and the Usos again. We wouldn't have to go with any of this shit. None of this shit. But of course, now, we are all disappointed. Of course, now, oh my God, Bruce Pritchard is all disappointed because he doesn't like the SummerSlam card. Now, all of a sudden. Maybe you should start changing your ways. I don't know how much Bruce Pritchard ways are going to change, but based on what happened with the bombshell yesterday, and we're going to get into that next, actually, and I got a lot of shit to say about that. We're going to fucking celebrate as well. Based on what happened, I'm not sure how much Bruce Pritchard ways are going to change, but hopefully this is going to result in the termination of Bruce Pritchard. Maybe, considering that now Triple H is officially reinstated as the Executive Vice President of Talent Relations, maybe we could very well see Triple H actually work with what he's got. Because Triple H, he's actually gone on record and he's actually said that he's produced certain shows here and there, and they've had reports of saying how Triple H produced certain Royal Rumbles and certain main roster pay-per-views, and they turned out to be great. He actually was backstage running the ship for the Royal Rumble in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if someone could look that up for me. So that right there could be an indication that Triple H, even with a shit card that WWE is reportedly unhappy with, he could very well put on a semi-decent show with the chips that he's been dealt with. But again, this is what you get. Now you're pissed off. Because, we don't like the SummerSlam card. Then put some effort into your fucking shows. Get your head out of your fucking ass. Put some effort into your fucking shows. And then maybe you'll be pleased with the final product. How about that? But oh my God. Yeah, it's so terrible. So terrible to put effort into your fucking product. So terrible to actually book your product around pro wrestling. So terrible, right? Rematch after rematch after rematch after rematch. Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins is a rematch as well. Riddle Rollins, rematch. Street Profits Usos, rematch. Lesnar Reigns, rematch. We got Ronda and Liv, a rematch for Money in the Bank and that cash-in. We got Becky and Bianca, another rematch. Rematch. Everything's about Bobby Lashley, Austin Theory. Rematch. That's what happens. Now, I don't want to say that what I've been saying for the last 44 minutes has meant nothing, but this was the big one right here. And I got a lot of shit to say about this. Now, if you guys are wondering why I wasn't tweeting yesterday for SmackDown and Rampage and why I didn't respond to anyone's texts, why I didn't respond to anyone's Twitter messages or voicemails, I actually was hanging out with a couple of friends from work, and I actually went to see a play in which one of my coworkers starred in. She starred in The Little Mermaid. I do not like plays, but I will say this. The play was actually very good. And Emily, if you're watching, I think you did great. Shout out to my friend Ryan, who actually drove me to the play. Shout out to Ryan and his wife. Great to meet you as well. And Ryan's great. Ryan's great. I had a great time. Emily, once again, you did phenomenal. So shout out to you. I needed to get away. I couldn't watch another shitty episode of SmackDown. So I decided to take the night off. I rewatched Rampage, so you will get a Rampage review. But it was announced in an official statement. This wasn't due to any reports. This wasn't due to any news breaking out of the blue. This was an official statement from WWE. An official statement from Vince McMahon announced that he is indeed stepping down as the chairman and as the WWE CEO. He is indeed retiring. And he announced that in the statement that Stephanie McMahon will be chairwoman as well as co-CEO with Nick Khan. Triple H was also announced earlier in the afternoon to be the new executive vice president of talent relations, and this sent the wrestling community into an absolute whirlwind in a very good way. Not in a bad way, in a very good way. This is absolutely unprecedented. This is absolutely unprecedented, and I cannot tell you how big this really is. I want everyone to understand this, and I don't give a shit whether or not you're a fan of WWE, whether you're not a fan of WWE, whether you're a fan of Vince or you're not a fan of Vince. What I'm about to tell you is the absolute gospel truth, and if you refute it, I don't mind calling you a fucking retard because you are one. Vince McMahon was the absolute bane of WWE's existence. He was the absolute bane of WWE's existence in more ways than one. Vince McMahon will ultimately go down as perhaps the greatest businessman in history. He really is. But when it comes to a storyline perspective, when it comes to when an on-screen television perspective is taken into account, when it comes to creative writing, when it comes to TV shows, he is undoubtedly the worst of the worst. Doesn't matter how much money that he makes, doesn't matter how many views that they get, what their ratings are. It's all meaningless. Money ain't worth jack shit when it comes to the quality of the TV shows. And at the end of the day, that's all we should be concerned about. And at the end of the day, doesn't matter how much money that he made, doesn't matter how rich he got, the shows sucked donkey dick. The shows absolutely sucked. They sucked. And the shows got worse and worse and worse and worse as the years went on. Ever since Punk walked out of the company, hell, many people can say that their downward spiral started even before Punk left. Week after week after week, month after month after month, year after year after year, Vince McMahon made the company worse. Why? Why? I'll tell you why. Multiple reasons. Vince McMahon single-handedly killed pro wrestling. What do I mean by that? Pro wrestling, for many years, has had such a negative vibe around it. Oh, it's fake. Oh, how can you watch that? Blah, blah, blah. All this shit. You bring up pro wrestling in a conversation with a non-pro wrestling fan, and they're going to give some ignorant, arrogant fucking response about how it's fake and shit. Meanwhile, they love all these fucking movies and fiction novels and all this other bullshit, and those are fake. Pro wrestling has such a negative vibe around it. Why? Because of Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon gave pro wrestling a bad name because of this farce, because of this hideous concept of sports entertainment. Sports entertainment is not pro wrestling. Sports entertainment is a shell of pro wrestling. Sports entertainment is a lame cosplay of pro wrestling. So at the end of the day, Vince McMahon, he took this farce of sports entertainment and all these shitty things with pro wrestling, weddings, and all these shit segments. The Muppets hosted Monday Night Raw one day back in 2011. All of this fucking garbage with the celebrity guest hosts and all this bullshit. I don't give a shit what he gave. I don't give a shit about his past glory. He was good back then. He ain't good now. At the end of the day, past glory ain't worth shit. Past glory ain't worth shit if you're not doing good in the present. And Vince McMahon, in the last decade plus, has given us some of the worst TV ever. He was past his prime. Don't give a shit how much money he made. Don't give a shit if he gave you what he gave you today. Don't give a single fucking shit. Vince McMahon was a cancer. Vince McMahon was a cancer with sports entertainment and giving pro wrestling a bad reputation. A bad reputation right out of the gate. All the fans wanted was pro wrestling, and Vince McMahon killed it. He killed pro wrestling with the sports entertainment farce. AEW was fighting an uphill battle. It's because of Vince McMahon bringing about this terrible reputation about pro wrestling and this shit concept on sports entertainment that now Vince McMahon, he gave AEW a very steep hill to climb, and they're still climbing that. AEW has been making pro wrestling good again. AEW has been making pro wrestling good again, and they're doing great. But if people are wondering why they're not higher up in the ratings than they should be, which again, the ratings really don't matter because they'll generate the ratings over time. They'll generate the ratings over time at the end of the day. But when it comes to where they are now, they've been fighting an uphill battle because Vince McMahon has destroyed the concept of pro wrestling. Vince McMahon is an absolute disease. He was a disease to the WWE. He was a cancer. And now that he's gone, now WWE can finally begin the process of becoming better. Sports entertainment is not pro wrestling, and sports entertainment is a complete and utter disgrace to everything pro wrestling is. Sports entertainment needs to die 1,000 deaths. And if you're in support of that, get the fuck out of my chat. Get the fuck out of my fan base. Get the fuck out of my life because you do not belong. Okay? You don't belong. Another reason was because of favoritism. Favoritism and the out-of-touch mentality that Vince McMahon operated with. Vince McMahon created a toxic environment, not just when it came to backstage with WWE, but he created a toxic environment when it came to the IWC as well. So much so that people turned a blind eye to WWE's problems. Now, there are a couple people that I could name specifically, but I'm not going to because we'd be here for the next 5 hours. And I know a lot of people don't want to do that. You want to relax. You want to spend some time in the pool. You want to spend some time with the family. You want to get ready for Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor tonight. I get that. So I'm not going to go into all these specific names. But in general, so many people turned a blind eye to WWE's problems. So many people turned a blind eye to WWE's problems. And at the end of the fucking day, Vince McMahon, he created this toxicity, this blind support for WWE. And he even caused so many people to become tribalistic shills. That's where we get that revolting blob from Cardiff, Wales, WWE Gareth. Can only imagine how high his cholesterol is. We have Jobber Nation TV. He's absolutely a 700-pound slob that hasn't seen his dick in about 15 years. These tribalistic shills that would go to the ends of the earth to defend WWE, even though they got worse and worse and worse over the course of X amount of years. And at the end of the day, those are the types of people that continued to egg Vince McMahon on. They continued to egg Vince McMahon on, and Vince McMahon continued to do what he's doing, and the company got worse and worse and worse. Vince McMahon was a disease. He was a sickness. He was a poison within WWE that brainwashed the minds of thousands of fans. He brainwashed the minds of pro wrestlers as well. I mean, everyone remembers the whole Seth Rollins debacle where he defended the ending of that Hell in a Cell match with The Fiend. He brainwashed pro wrestlers. He brainwashed journalists. He brainwashed fans. It was such a toxic, out-of-touch mentality, so much so that people even went out of their way to say, oh, Keith Lee and Karrion Kross aren't that good. Oh, they were never good. They were never draws. Oh, how could Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa succeed here? Really? Really? Meanwhile, we're living in an era where pro wrestling, the in-ring work, is the best it's ever been. And you're telling me after the matches that those individuals have put on throughout the years that they're not worthy of being on the main roster in major programs. That just goes to show you that you are absolutely fucking retarded and you don't belong anywhere near pro wrestling. Get the fuck out of the wrestling community. Get a new hobby because you are an absolute disgrace. You do not deserve the oxygen that we have to breathe. You don't. Don't give a shit who you are. Don't give a shit what you've done. Don't give a fuck. I don't. And this is the gospel truth, whether you like it or not. This ain't no opinion. This is facts, whether you like it or not. If you don't like it, you can suck my dick. I don't care. I'm right, you're wrong. And everyone fucking knows it. Those shills, those tribalistic shills, continue to egg Vince McMahon on. Brainwashing so many people, thinking that Swerve wasn't good to succeed, thinking that Adam Cole was too small. I hear it all the time from fucking Road Dogg, that fucking dumb old bastard. Oh, if Adam Cole had X amount of muscle, he'd be very much successful. Oh, Tommaso Ciampa, he's really going to benefit from being with The Miz. All these people coming out in support of the fucking Miz and shit. At the end of the day, Vince McMahon, aside from being a piece of shit personally because of what he did with all these reports coming out, despite all that, he was a terrible, terrible CEO. Favoritism, constantly favoring Brock Lesnar, pushing Roman Reigns down our throats as a babyface, constantly favoring Charlotte Flair, constantly favoring Becky Lynch, pushing the same fucking people over and over again. 2-minute matches, not even featuring people on TV. These shitty 24/7 championship title segments. All of this, rolled up into one, created a toxic wasteland known as World Wrestling Entertainment. Vince McMahon needed to go. Vince McMahon needed to go. He needed to go. He needed to go ASAP. And now that he's gone, this is the first step. This is the first step towards repairment. This is the first step towards improvement. With what Triple H was doing with NXT. Triple H was creating, undoubtedly, the best wrestling promotion and the future of pro wrestling right at Vince McMahon's fingertips. And Vince McMahon, he killed it out of pure hate for his son-in-law. He killed it out of pure hate and jealousy because, oh, it's not his vision. Here's what I want everyone to do. I want every single individual to get R.I. Boise and get Zach out of the fucking chat now. Get these fucking shit stains out of the chat. Whether it's on Hardcore Sports, whether it's on my channel, I don't give a fuck who they are. These retards are not welcome. I do not allow retards in my streams. Get them out of the fucking channel now. Get them out. I do not want to see another fucking message from them at all. Whether it's Mitch, whether it's Earl, someone, either on my channel or a Hardcore Sports channel, get them out and make sure they never fucking come back. Get them out. Let me go to my channel for a minute. DJ Sums. Are you a mod? You a mod? Add moderator. There you go. DJ Sums, you're a mod. If they come into my channel, you're to get them out. Mitch, make Earl Cole a mod. Make Earl Cole a mod. Make someone a mod over on the Hardcore Sports channel and get these fucking retards out. Make sure they stay out. Anyway. Got a little off topic there. Like I was saying, Vince McMahon, he killed the future of WWE all because his son-in-law was doing it better than him. This toxic mentality of how he always needed to be God. He always needed to be number one. He always needed to be the guy that was going to be the trailblazer. He always needed to be the best. And that's fine. I don't mind a guy that wants to be the best. But at the end of the day, if your shit is not good, then it's not good. And what he was doing was truthfully and factually, unequivocally, undisputably terrible. It was undisputably terrible. The toxicity that Vince McMahon put forth, the brainwashing of all of these people across the wrestling universe, everything, favoritism, destroying his son-in-law's creation, putting his son-in-law against AEW when he knew that they were going to fail just to get back at his son-in-law for upstaging him all those years. The pettiness that Vince McMahon showed, absolutely fucking disgusting. Absolutely fucking pathetic. Honest to God, pathetic. Now he's gone. Good. Should have happened a long time ago. Couldn't have happened to a better guy. These allegations, all these allegations, they did it. They were finally able to do it. I could not be any more happier right now because now the process to rebuild WWE, build it back up in the correct image, in Triple H's image, in the image of what a pro wrestling company should be built up as. Pro wrestling, period. This is the start of a new era. Now, I don't want everyone to get all hyped up. I don't want everyone to get all overexcited right now because at the end of the day, it's going to take a long time. And I mean a long fucking time. Really, a long fucking time in order for Vince McMahon's image and Vince McMahon's stank, Vince McMahon's horrific stench, all of Vince McMahon's shit to be wiped clean. It's going to take a long, long, long time to do that. I don't expect to see real change until maybe the Survivor Series. That's if I'm being generous. Maybe even next year. I don't really expect to see a lot of change up until then. And the reason why is because Bruce is still there. Bruce is still there. Ed Kotsky's still there. If there is one guy that's going to be there, it's going to be Nick Khan because he was appointed the co-CEO. So at the end of the fucking day, if Stephanie and Triple H and all these fucking people, if they're able to gain enough traction, enough support, if they're able to gain the right amount of support and the right amount of traction, the right amount of attention, the right manner from the right people, and they're able to put themselves up in a higher position of power and really get into a good grace with the fans, then at the end of the day, Bruce Pritchard could be gone, Ed Kotsky could be gone, Kevin Dunn could be gone, all that shit, all of these toxic pieces of shit, they're going to be gone. They're going to be gone. They're not going to be gone yet. It's only been one day. Things are not going to go back to normal in a day. Triple H being the executive vice president of talent relations, it's not going to go away in a day. The one thing that I'm very much concerned about is after all of these individuals are gone, hopefully soon, is Triple H and Stephanie really going to be able to run the WWE the way that they want? Or is Vince McMahon going to be on the phone? And if Vince McMahon, who watches the fucking show, if he says something and if he does something, if he sees what he doesn't like, is he going to give Stephanie a call and say, what the fuck are you doing? Are Stephanie and Triple H now the ones walking on eggshells? Are they the ones walking on eggshells because now they still have to answer to Vince, even though Vince is technically retired? Has he legitimately retired? I don't know. But I am questioning this because, again, this is WWE and the reputation, the shit reputation they've built. It's very, very tough for me to really, really get ramped up and excited about this because, again, with this company, I've said it numerous amounts of times. When it comes to the WWE, Seeing is believing. You need to see the legit change in order to believe it. You need to see that change. You need to feel that change. You need to experience the change in order to really believe that change is upon us. And that's unfortunately the reputation that WWE has built. It is a absolutely shitty scenario, but at the end of the day, this is what we have come to. Unless we actually see some shit change on WWE TV, unfortunately, we can't sit here and say, man, now things are changing. Unfortunately, we can't. I wish that we could, but unfortunately, we can't. And at the end of the day, we're going to have to wait. At the end of the day, the real change is not going to come unless we sit down, unless we wait. We need to wait. We need to hold off. And we really, really need to stick to the course. And if we see change, then we can collectively sit down, breathe a sigh of relief, and say, finally. Now, the one thing, obviously, besides Vince McMahon, was Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, according to various sources, he walked out of SmackDown early afternoon. And he reportedly said, if he's gone, I'm gone. Now, I actually expect that. I expect that from Brock Lesnar because at the end of the day, Brock Lesnar is Vince McMahon's boy. At the end of the day, Brock Lesnar's a Vince McMahon guy because Vince is paying Brock Lesnar the big bucks. So now with Vince not there, Lesnar pretty much assumed that he's not going to be paid these big bucks anymore. So he's gone. He ended up showing up at the end of SmackDown to F5 Austin Theory and beat him down. What does this mean? What exactly does this mean? The one thing that I'm chalking this up to, and the one thing that I'm really, really getting into, what does this mean? I am thinking that Brock Lesnar, apparently, he was pissed. He did legitimately walk out. But at the end of the day, they called him up, they rang him up, and they talked things out with him, and they convinced him, just do the job at SummerSlam. Do the job at SummerSlam, and then you can go. That's all he wanted. Just do the job at SummerSlam, and that's it. And if that's the case, I have no problem with that. Let him do what he needs to do, and then he's gone. We don't need Brock Lesnar. We don't need Brock Lesnar. We've never needed Brock Lesnar. We've never, ever, ever needed Brock Lesnar. They brought back Brock Lesnar because they are desperate. They brought back Brock Lesnar because they favor Brock Lesnar. They brought back Brock Lesnar because that's all that they know. Rematch City. Same shit, different day. Same stars over and over and over again. And at the end of the day, I truthfully hope Brock leaves after SummerSlam because there's really nothing more for Brock Lesnar to do. Unless I see a match with Matt Riddle, which, again, I don't even think that Brock Lesnar would put as much effort into his match with Matt Riddle. Unless we see a match with Matt Riddle, I don't care. I don't care. Brock Lesnar has seen his day. He's run his course. Let Brock Lesnar do what he needs to do. Let Brock Lesnar go off into the sunset. Let him fucking hunt deer in Saskatchewan. It doesn't matter. I don't care. But that's pretty much what's going on. That's pretty much what's going on. It is a very, very, very important date in human history, July 22nd, 2022, the day that Vince McMahon finally retired. Change is not going to happen overnight. I am ecstatic as everyone else, but change is not going to happen overnight. We're going to have to wait. We're going to have to hold our breath and just hang on tight. It's like a fucking roller coaster ride where we're creeping up and up and up, but we're not there yet. We're getting to that point where we're going to get to the highest peak, and then we're going to drop, and we're going to have a grand old time. We're going to scream, and we're going to have a fun time on this roller coaster. We need to wait. We need to wait. I don't know when we'll really start to feel change, but if I'm to make a guess, I would say the process of change is really going to start after SummerSlam, and we're not going to feel it until next year. I'd like to hope that I'm wrong, and maybe we might be able to see the change spark up a little bit earlier. Maybe we see guys like Gargano come back. Maybe we see Ciampa being booked in a better light. Maybe we see old stars come back. Maybe we see the people that were fired, some of the people that don't really have major positions on AEW television yet, and they're still working the indies. Maybe we see those guys come up and get a job with the WWE. Maybe we could very well see WWE go out of their way to they could go out of their way to sign some independent talent now. This is a wonderful, wonderful thing. But at the end of the day, it's going to take time. We need to wait for Bruce to get out of there. We need to wait for Stephanie to fire Bruce. We need to wait for Triple H to fire Ed Kotsky and Kevin Dunn. And then we could possibly see some new people come on in. Maybe we see the old Triple H crew come on back in. Maybe they get their jobs back with the WWE. I hope so. I hope so. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. But that's what's going on, people. We could celebrate because now the initiative for change can officially begin. We toast today to Vince McMahon's WWE reign as CEO. Rest in piss. You will not be missed. Good. That right there was the tears of Zach, that fucking retard right there. Before we blocked him, of course. Because, fuck him. He can go jerk off to anime porn and support Vince McMahon all he wants. That's all I got as far as the news, rumors, and reports go, people. Let's check the chat. We got a chat that's rocking and rolling. 17 likes for the Hardcore Sports channel. Not bad at all. 17 likes for the Hardcore Sports channel. And we got 18 likes for my channel. But I actually think that we could do a little bit better. So here's what I want y'all to do. If you guys haven't already done so, hit the like button on my channel. Go over to the Hardcore Sports channel and hit the like on the Hardcore Sports channel. Then what we are going to do, we are going to get into the weekly show reviews. We're going to go over 3 weekly shows this week. 3 weekly shows this week regarding Raw, Dynamite Fighter Fest, and Rampage Fighter Fest, excuse me. We are about a couple likes away from 20 on both streams. So what I want everyone to do is I want everyone to do what they can to share out the stream. Get as many people in here as possible. People, if you haven't liked it over on Hardcore Sports, like it over on Hardcore Sports. It is big, and we're going to get into the weekly show reviews right now. Once again, shout out to everyone. Shout out to the Final Hoss, Adam Carl, DJ Sums, Earl Cole, Mitch, AK Eagles Podcast. Thank you to everyone. We're going to get right into Monday Night Raw review, which Monday Night Raw, it was terrible as usual. And based on what we saw here, it is clearly not very hard to decipher why WWE is not happy with the SummerSlam build, because their weekly shows suck giraffe testicles. Titus O'Neil kicked off the show. And he announced that he is now a WWE Global Ambassador, and he thought that he reached his goals when he was tag team champion and all that, and then he became a global ambassador. Then we had Titus talk about how the world needs goodwill. The world needs goodwill. He talked about supporting servicemen and women, helping the less fortunate. We'll never be talking about politics or religion or any other subject matter that's divisive. This is a place where we all have a good time, and that's exactly what we are about to do tonight. Welcome to Monday Night Raw, said Titus. Now, Vince McMahon was still CEO at this point. And the moment that Titus O'Neil was out there, as the speech went on, I knew what they were doing. This was in response to the Vince McMahon allegations, and this was in response to the women being frustrated, reportedly, with how they're being booked backstage. So they sent Titus O'Neil backstage, and no one is going to boo Titus O'Neil. No one's going to boo Titus O'Neil. No one's going to hate on Titus O'Neil because Titus O'Neil is not a hateful guy. I like Titus. Titus and what he says, I truthfully believe that Titus believes in everything that he says. He believes in helping the less fortunate. He believes in bringing people together and not dividing them. He believes in wanting to create a safe haven for people. I believe that Titus O'Neil is a stand-up guy. He is a wonderful individual. No one hates Titus O'Neil. I don't hate Titus O'Neil. I appreciate the work that Titus O'Neil does. Titus O'Neil is a very admirable human being, and a lot of people need to be more like Titus O'Neil. A lot of people should be more like Titus O'Neil, but this was nothing more than a shitty PR move. I saw right through this shit. This was a shitty PR move to distract everyone from Vince's allegations until Vince McMahon couldn't do it no more, and he just retired because, again, he was going to bring the WWE down with him. Or they were trying to distract everyone from the female report because Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out, and the women's report of them being frustrated pretty much justified Sasha and Naomi. So they sent Titus O'Neil out there as a shitty PR move. I do not fall for shit that easily. So we got Becky Lynch coming out. She looks more and more retarded every week with her outfits. She talked about the little engine that could, and that's how her journey since WrestleMania has been. You can call me the big-time Bex Express. I wish that she would go in front of a big-time Bex Express so that way it would run her over and I wouldn't have to hear her talk anymore. She mentioned winning the title. The winner of the title match tonight gets her at SummerSlam. Bianca and Carmella were having another match. Bianca then came out and talked about Becky being foul. And this is not the Becky Lynch WrestleMania comeback story. This is the Bianca Belair comeback story from last year at SummerSlam. And I know a lot of people are going to cry to the high heavens, oh, see, WWE is doing long-term booking. Sound like Tigger from Winnie the Pooh. You know they're making a Winnie the Pooh horror movie? It's ridiculous. So, this isn't long-term booking. This isn't long-term storytelling. This is the fact that WWE legitimately cannot be bothered to build up anyone new. That and the fact that they fired everyone that was good that they actually had. So what do? They have Becky Lynch go out there, and now she's getting the title match at SummerSlam because, again, there's nobody else. Bullshit. So she talked about, did Bianca, looking to redeem herself, and she did just that, and I'm going to kick your little caboose right back to Ireland. I hope that she does. I hope we never have to see Becky Lynch again, because Becky Lynch, again, she is a fucking parasite. She's an absolute fucking parasite. Carmella then came out and said that she shouldn't be overlooked. She's a badass with a great ass. She stole that line from Natalia Markova, who is currently the current House of Glory Women's Champion. Natalia Markova is leagues better than Carmella. No disrespect to Carmella, but Natalia Markova, A, is more attractive, and B, is a better wrestler. Just throwing it out there. Natalia Markova is great. I'd love to have her on my show one time. So Bianca went on about how she's the EST before Becky and Carmella attacked Bianca. Lynch then with the manhandle slam before we go into a commercial break. Same shit, different week. Nothing new. I was ready to turn it off right then and there and just go the fuck to sleep. So Carmella and Bianca, we get a Raw Women's Championship match. Mella then tried to get Bianca counted out. If Bianca got counted out, then she would actually lose the championship. So she tried to get Bianca counted out to Carmella over and over and over again. Coming back from commercial, Bianca mounted a comeback with a handspring moonsault for a 2. Mella then she was caught by Bianca in a vertical suplex. Very nice spot. Mella with a face buster for a 2. Bianca then with the KOD, and she retains the championship. Not a bad match, but last week's match was clearly better. Becky then took the title and then dropped it right at Bianca's feet before she walked away smiling. Kevin Owens returned to Raw. He hosted the KO show with Matt Riddle. Now, why was Kevin Owens away? I don't know. I'm guessing he either had a personal family thing going on or he probably had COVID. So he asked Riddle to sit. Owens then said he needed to take a step back because he was too obsessed with proving Ezekiel and Elias were the same person, and he doesn't care about them anymore. They can do whatever they want now. Wow! Took them long enough to finally acknowledge the fact that this storyline makes no fucking sense, so they just ended it. Good. Should have never been a thing. The storyline should have never been a thing. The only good part about it was when they dressed up Ezekiel like Elias and have Elias and Ezekiel do that split-screen conversation backstage. That was the best thing about that entire program. Other than that, it sucked. So he talked about his match with Rollins, talked about Riddle's match with Rollins and how he lost his best friend just like Riddle lost his best friend, did Kevin Owens. Everyone needs some backup. RK Bro was good, but Bro KO could be great. So Tampa. I wish Ciampa was involved with Kevin Owens. Tampa then chanted Bro KO. Riddle then called Owens the biggest liar he knows. Owens then looked to prove to him. And then Riddle, he said Riddle trusted Randy Orton. Riddle got angry and said he was done talking. Rollins' music then hit. He came up from behind and gave Riddle a stomp, and Owens did not get involved, and he got out of dodge as Rollins gave Riddle a second stomp. I don't know what the fuck they're doing with KO, but once again, KO is in a position where he is absolutely meaningless. Kevin Owens, let me tell you something. I admire Kevin Owens' selflessness and the fact that he put his family before anyone. That's a great quality, and I very much respect him for doing that. He's a great individual, a great person, but at the end of the day, he literally signed his soul away, and he's been doing nothing. He's legitimately been buried. He's lost every single big match that he's had this year. He lost the WWE title match at day one. He lost at the Royal Rumble. He wasn't even on the Elimination Chambers card. Then he lost to Stone Cold Steve Austin, got buried by Stone Cold Steve Austin. That feud did nothing for Kevin Owens, and then he was put into a 3-month program with fucking Ezekiel. So at the end of the day, Kevin Owens has been a meaningless act. If there's one guy that deserves some just due, it's Kevin Owens. And I hope to God that they are going to pair him with Sami Zayn, and Sami and Owens are going to take those titles from the Usos. I hope to God. We need that tag team right now. Reportedly, Sami Zayn is dealing with an injury. I don't know how serious it is, but I'd like to hope that he'll be back for Clash at the Castle, and Owens and Zayn will beat the Usos and win the tag team titles. Judgment Day. Judgment Day came out. Damian Priest called for everyone to rise for the Judgment Day. We believe Dominic will make the right decision tonight, and we guarantee you tonight that he will join the Judgment Day. Stop letting your father hold you back. They replayed what they did to Edge before the Mysterios interrupted. Judgment Day, listen, I love Priest, I love Balor, but Judgment Day is as flat as a pancake. And it goes to show you that WWE is absolutely fucking pathetic. Pathetic for the petty reason that they kicked Edge out before Edge barely even had the opportunity to generate some fucking interest for Judgment Day. Pathetic. Damian Priest and Rey Mysterio. Decent little match right here, but at the end of the day, again, no one gives a shit. No one gives a shit. All 4 of these men, almost everyone on this show has been booked like shit. Nobody cares. Everyone's been booked into oblivion. No one gives a shit. So Priest wore down Rey Mysterio. Rey came back with a big bulldog. Rey sent Priest into the ring post, seated senton and a handspring crossbody, big springboard crossbody for 2. Balor then took out Dominic. Rey with a wrecking ball dropkick to Balor. Rey then hit a 619. Priest then caught Rey off a seated senton and gave him a razor's edge, and he pinned Rey Mysterio for the 1-2-3. And Damian Priest once again wins. Again, look, Judgment Day, they've been winning, but no one gives a shit. They've already hit their ceiling. No one gives a shit about Judgment Day. Even if they do win the tag team titles at some point, no one's going to give a shit about them. Edge did not have enough time to transfer his credibility to the Judgment Day. Priest and Balor then took chairs, and they were getting ready to hit a concerto on Rey Mysterio. Priest then said, Dominic is joining Judgment Day or we take him. Dominic said to stop, and he'll join the Judgment Day. Priest then said, it doesn't work that way, and they hit Dominic with a chair. Does anyone care? No. No. Ezekiel versus Seth Rollins. This was probably the best thing on the show. Probably the best thing on the show, and you know what sucks about this? You know what sucks about this? The one thing that sucks about this is the fact that Ezekiel has legitimately been a loyal soldier. He's been one of the most loyal soldiers ever to WWE. Hasn't complained once, has never said that he's been frustrated with his position. He's done everything that WWE has told him to do. He changed his look, shaved his beard, cut his hair. He physically got himself into the best shape of his life, and more importantly, he got better in the ring. And here he is, and WWE has legitimately given him nothing to work with. They've put no effort into him. How do you think he must feel? It reminds me of Parker Bordeaux. They put Parker Bordeaux in a fucking jumpsuit. They had him shave his head, and they put no effort into him. How do you think Parker Bordeaux must have felt? How do you feel? How do you think Ezekiel feels? I feel bad for him. I don't mind watching Ezekiel. I'm telling you, they could have a decent mid-carder if they actually give him a decent character and some decent booking. Ezekiel, legit, he has no character. None. But the match was actually very good. And it sucks. When I see a match like that, and I know that they're not putting any effort into Ezekiel, I get pissed off. I get pissed off because I want better for Ezekiel. So Ezekiel and Seth Rollins, both men, traded headlocks. Ezekiel actually got better. He's actually not bad when it comes to technical wrestling. So Rollins then, with some vicious strikes, we had a mule kick by Zeke, a big pop-up drop. Zeke then stopped a suicide dive and then sent Rollins into the post and then back into the ring. Rollins then draped Ezekiel over the top rope and hit a Shinsuke Nakamura-esque draping knee to the back of Ezekiel's neck. Coming back from commercial, Zeke mounted a comeback with an exploder suplex and a nice spine buster for a 2. Rollins then with a super kick for a 2. Zeke with some roll-ups back and forth. Roll-up by Rollins for a 2. Ezekiel with a very nice powerbomb for a 2. Rollins came in with a springboard, but Ezekiel with a huge knee in midair to Seth Rollins. Rollins kicked out. Rollins then with the superplex Falcon Arrow combo. Zeke kicked out. Rolling elbows from Rollins, and then he hit a stomp, and that was it. Rollins and Ezekiel, easily the best thing on the show. A very good match, went about 13, 14 minutes, but at the end of the day, no one gives a shit. Why? Because they put no effort into the Ezekiel character. We had the Black Great Khali, a.k.a. Omos. He took on Angelo Dawkins, MVP, right in front of the referee, tripped up Angelo Dawkins, and the ref called for a DQ, and Dawkins won. Adam Pearce then came out, and he made a tag team match between MVP, Omos, and the Street Profits. MVP had to wrestle in a suit, this tag team match. Corey Graves, I don't see anyone talking about this, but I need to acknowledge this. Corey Graves, he was crying about how it wasn't fair. He sounded like a petulant fucking teenager. Corey Graves, I don't know what the fuck happened, but Corey Graves right now is the worst commentator in the entire industry. He's not even an entertaining heel. Nigel McGuinness on NXT Black and Gold, he was a fucking entertaining heel commentator. Corey Graves is fucking annoying. I legit prefer Byron Saxton over Corey Graves. And that's not because Byron's a great commentator, but Byron at least attempts to call the match, and at least Byron tries. At least Byron tries to add something. Corey Graves, he legitimately brings the commentary booth down. We need to get Jimmy Smith off of commentary. They should have never fired Tom Phillips. We need to get a new play-by-play commentator there. I actually prefer Kevin Patrick on play-by-play commentary. And we need to get Corey Graves off of fucking commentary. Corey Graves sucks. He sucks as a color commentator. Make him a play-by-play. Make him a play-by-play. Call the fucking moves. He's simping over his wife, Carmella, in the ring. I had to hear him last week. Oh my God, Carmella beat the champion. And then Byron Saxton goes, oh, you know, she's not the Raw Women's Champion. You can't win a championship via count out. And then Corey Graves goes, well, you should. Corey Graves sucks right now. And that's painful for me to say, considering how good he once was. We need, if anything, I hope to God that now that Vince is out of power, I hope that now he's not giving all of this information to Corey Graves and fucking Jimmy Smith and all this other shit. I honest to God hope so. Really, I do. The match sucked. And the match, get this, the match ended via a DQ because the Usos were out there and the Usos attacked the Street Profits. So now you know, now all of you know why I complain when we get one match that leads to a DQ finish into a tag team match, and then that tag team match ends in a DQ. Why did you even book both of these matches? Let alone, well, why didn't you book both of them to begin with? Why didn't you keep this shit off the show? You were better off doing another singles match between one of the Usos and one of the Profits. This sucked dick. Austin Theory and AJ Styles. They had a promo. Theory took the mic and he talked about how he's going to become United States Champion and undisputed WWE Universal Champion. He showed footage of Lesnar destroying the Alpha Academy, and he ran down all the people that don't like him because he's successful. He called Ziggler's actions pathetic. Theory then was interrupted by AJ Styles. Styles said, whether you leave with one or both championships at SummerSlam, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be one of the first people to challenge you, said Mr. AJ Styles. Styles then said, the locker room's not jealous of you. They just think you're a big jackass. Theory then ran down his accomplishments and asked AJ Styles what he was doing at his age. How many nights did he need to wrestle in rundown barns, hitting barefoot hillbillies with phenomenal forearms to become a WWE superstar, said Theory. Styles then got mad and talked about how he came up the way that he came up, and he was proud of where he came up from, and it made him into the man he is today. He said that I'm the guy that's going to knock some respect into you. So he punched Theory. Theory fell out of the ring. And then Dolph Ziggler came out, and we go into commercial. Styles is another one. The fact that Styles has been in this position, and he's been just as irrelevant as Kevin Owens has been. He got eliminated in the Rumble by Madcap Moss. He wasn't even on day one. He got buried at the Chamber by Lesnar. He got his ass handed to him in his feud with Judgment Day, only to have Edge kicked out of Judgment Day. Fucking stupid. So we get this match. Ziggler was shoved down by Theory, and then when the ref wasn't looking, this is fast forwarding towards the end, when the ref wasn't looking, he super kicked Austin Theory, did Dolph Ziggler, and he didn't make it back into the ring. Austin Theory didn't make it back into the ring. Styles then gave him a Styles clash, and that was pretty much it. Does anyone legitimately care? I don't. Theory should have remained the United States champion. He should not be Mr. Money in the Bank. And Ziggler, I don't know what the fuck they're doing with Ziggler, but I would have kept Dolph Ziggler with Robert Roode and the Dirty Dogs. What's going to happen with Robert Roode? Where is Robert Roode? Where's Robert Roode? Why is Ziggler on television, but Robert Roode is not? Are they sending him back down to NXT? Are we going to get the glorious Robert Roode back with Triple H now in charge? Now the executive vice president. What's going to happen? I don't fucking know. I hope that he comes back. Oh, God. Fucking hell. I'm trying to maintain. I'm really trying to maintain my sanity when talking about this. We had a 6 6-woman tag team match. We had a 6-woman tag team match, and it was Bliss, Asuka, and Dana Brooke versus Doudrop, Tamina, and Nikki Ash Cheeks. Nikki Trash. So all of a sudden, in the middle of this fucking match, we get the fucking 24/7 title crew coming out. Tozawa pinned Dana Brooke in the middle of the match to win the championship. Bliss then pinned Nikki to win the title. Doudrop pinned Bliss. Tamina pinned Doudrop. Then Brooke pinned Tamina to win the championship back. She ran off. This all took place inside of 3 minutes, and then Asuka submitted Nikki to get the win. Yet, there are people that are wondering. There are people that are wondering why the women are frustrated backstage. Then there are people that wonder why Sasha and Naomi walked out. Then there are people that wonder that wonder why all these things happen, why the women are frustrated, why Sasha and Naomi walked out, why I complain. Yet there are still some people that actually shit on the AEW women's division. How pathetic must you look now? How pathetic must you look now? The main segment was Miz TV and Logan Paul. Now, listen, Logan Paul has actually been fairly okay ever since he joined the WWE. He's actually been one of the better acts on television. But you don't fucking end the show with fucking Logan Paul. Fuck out of here with it. You do not end the show with the fucking Miz and Logan Paul. That shit right there just goes to show you that no one gives a fuck about what they put out. They just think everyone's going to watch because, hey, it's SummerSlam and we're World Wrestling Entertainment. Fuck that. So The Miz introduced Logan Paul. Logan Paul didn't waste any time. He wanted to know if The Miz accepted his SummerSlam challenge or not. Logan Paul pointed out that The Miz hit him with the skull-crushing finale after they won their match at WrestleMania. Logan Paul then said he signed the WWE contract to kick The Miz's ass at SummerSlam. Miz then tried to sweet-talk Logan Paul, blah, blah, blah. Miz talked about how Logan Paul couldn't do what he can do. No, actually, Miz, Logan Paul did pro wrestling better than you've done pro wrestling in the last 4 years. So, Miz, I just want to let you know, you suck. You absolutely suck as a pro wrestler, and you haven't been relevant ever since your program with Bryan Danielson. I will pay for your children's college funds if you retire from being a pro wrestler. Go behind the commentary table. I think that you'd be much more bearable than fucking Corey Graves. So Miz denied the challenge. Paul then actually said, oh, you don't think I'm tough enough? Nice little jab right there at the Miz. He goes, I was told I couldn't build a social media following or compete at WrestleMania. I'm in my prime, old man, which is actually true, by the way. Logan Paul is in his prime, and The Miz is a fucking old man. I'll be back next week, and I'll host Impulsive TV, and we'll see who's better. Logan Paul then said, these are the actions of a man with 2 blueberries in his pants. So Paul got the crowd chanting tiny balls. The Miz got angry. The Miz accepted Paul's challenge. Paul then clotheslined The Miz out of the ring before Ciampa came up from behind Logan Paul. The Miz's bitch then attacked Logan Paul before he got out of dodge, and The Miz and Ciampa stood in the ring in anger. I don't mind Logan Paul. I think he's an idiot personally, but professionally, when it comes to pro wrestling, he's very good at what he does. He knows how to cut a promo. He can carry himself well, and he was actually very good in the ring. I hope that this program is a one and done, and it ends. I hope that they legitimately get Miz off of TV. Get Miz off of TV, and let's put Ciampa in there on his own. Please. Please, for the love of God. Please. Please. So, that was Raw. Raw sucked. No reason for anyone to invest anything in Monday Night Raw. I didn't even bother covering SmackDown, but here's an interesting tidbit on SmackDown before I check the chat. Interesting tidbit on SmackDown. apparently Max Dupree, LA Knight, has had some backstage heat. He's had some backstage heat according to reports, and looks like they removed him from the Maximum Male Models gimmick. And they called up Von Wagner's girl. I don't know what her name is, but they called up the woman that Von Wagner has been following around on NXT recently. And she is now Maxine Dupree, the new advocate for Maximum Male Models. Good. And if this is the case, now with Triple H in charge, I hope to God we see the resurgence of LA Knight. Because if this is the case, this is great, because LA Knight is fucking great. LA Knight is the fucking man. LA Knight on SmackDown fighting for the Intercontinental Championship would be some great fucking TV. LA Knight is a world championship caliber athlete. We need him back. We need LA Knight back now. Let's check the chat. Check the chat. So far, we got 19 likes on the Hardcore Sports channel. Good shit right there. One more like away from 20. Guys, if you haven't done so, all we need is one more like to get to 20. I want to get to 20. Come on. I need 20 people. Give me 20 likes. Give me 20 likes on the Hardcore Sports channel. What are we when it comes to my channel? We are, exactly, if I could get onto this, we are at 19 likes. Actually, no, not 19 likes. 18 likes on my channel. So we got 18 likes on my channel, 19 likes on the Hardcore Sports channel. I think that we can get 2 more for my channel and 1 more for the Hardcore Sports channel, people. So share it out. Get as many people in here as possible. I want to see 20. I want to see 20 likes for each. Please. Please, please, please. We are going to talk about AEW Fyter Fest Week 2. Started off with Dynamite, and we actually got a really, really, really fun episode of Dynamite. Rather confusing ending. Very, very odd ending. An ending that was very discombobulated. But we're going to talk about that. We did get a lot of good shit on Dynamite. That's what I will say. How you doing, Furious Nation? Greatly appreciate you stopping by. Greatly appreciate you coming on in. If you haven't liked the Hardcore Sports channel, please make sure to go and do that. Check out the link in the description. I need just 1 more like on the Hardcore Sports channel to get to 20. We got goals we want to reach, so I'm going to need y'all to help me out. It's vital, people. It's very vital. We need to drive up the watch hours. We need to drive up the likes. So like this channel, like on my channel, and like on the Hardcore Sports channel. Very, very vital. Dynamite Fyter Fest Week 2 started off with Brody King. Brody King taking on Darby Allin. And holy shit, this was a very, very good match. Really good stuff right here from both men. These two went in there, and this was a great, great David versus Goliath match. Brody King has looked like an absolute fucking savage. So Brody King, he was just ragdolling Darby Allin all over the place. Ragdolling Darby Allin into the barricade, into the fucking apron. He was throwing him around ringside. Darby then used the belt to tie King's feet together. That took him down. He had a ground and pound on him. And we had a big tope suicida and took out King. Darby with a corner splash, but King hung Darby in a tree of woe position. He went for the corner cannonball, but he missed. Darby with a beautiful code red, but Brody King kicked out. Darby then with an armbar on both arms, almost a reverse full Nelson. Then he transitioned into a sleeper hold. Darby, then he bounced King off the exposed steel rod, and it looked like King might have been busted open. King then did the same spot that he did at the Royal Rampage and choked out Darby as if he was hanging him on a noose. Darby just dropped to the floor. King got back into the ring. Darby just beat the count. Then we had Brody King hitting Dante's Inferno. Absolutely drove Darby Allin's head into the mat. I swear to God, I thought he broke his neck. Absolutely brutal. King wins the match 1, 2, 3. And the House of Black, once again, looks fucking great. Very, very, very good match with the right outcome. Afterwards, King kept Darby in the sleeper hold before Sting came out. He was setting up for the Scorpion Death Drop. But the lights went out, and when the lights came back on, we saw Malachi Black in the ring, standing face to face with Sting. And after that, we ended up seeing Black spray the mist into Sting's eyes as King wore him out with a sleeper hold. All of a sudden, Miro coming out, wearing sunglasses. He looked like the fucking Terminator. He comes out wearing sunglasses, and he just stared down the House of Black. I'm loving this shit. Whatever these men are doing, House of Black, Sting and Darby, and Miro, I'm loving this shit. This is some great fucking material right here. I'm going to be loving when we inevitably get that 6-man tag, when Buddy Matthews comes back. This is great. This is awesome. I'll tell you what else is awesome. Best Friends versus the Blackpool Combat Club. This was Jon Moxley and Wheeler Yuta. This was an excellent tag team match. Probably the best match of the entire night number 2 of Fyter Fest. This was fucking awesome from start to finish. Really good stuff right here. And I'm going to go out on record and say this right now. The Blackpool Combat Club is the best faction of the entire year. The Blackpool Combat Club has been outshining the Bloodline in every sense of the fucking word. There is no doubt in my mind, when we're going to look back on this year, when 2022 is over, the Blackpool Combat Club is going to be looked at as the best fucking faction all year. Hands down. They are so fucking good. It is unbelievable. They're so good. So Trent and Yuta, they got into it. A nice little throwback from what happened back in the day when Yuta was not very popular among Trent. Yuta was isolated coming back from commercial before Moxley got the hot tag. He lit up Trent and sent Chuck Taylor over the timekeeper's table. We had a nice cutter by Jon Moxley on Trent for a 2. Chuck then with the awful waffle, which looked brutal. Yuta then was on the receiving end of not 1 but 2 pile drivers. Yuta still kicked out. Yuta then with a German suplex on Trent. Trent hit the crunchy, but Jon Moxley hit the regal knee to break that one up. Moxley then locked Trent in a figure 4 on the floor, and Yuta with a modified pinning combination to pin Chuck Taylor for the 1, 2, 3. And Yuta is going into tonight with a lot of momentum against Daniel Garcia when we get that pure championship match, which I think is going to be a phenomenal fucking match. I'm very much looking forward to that. So that was an excellent match right there. And then from there, we get into the celebration for Swerve in Our Glory. Very happy that Swerve and Lee are succeeding here. So they got cake and champagne. They thanked all the fans. Lee actually cut a great promo. We talked about Kevin Gates, who was at ringside. I have no idea who the fuck Kevin Gates is, but this was obviously leading to Kevin Gates getting involved some way, somehow. Tony Nese then came out, and he interrupted with Smart Mark Sterling. They ranted about how they got lucky last week, but they plan on removing Swerve from the roster. They wanted Kevin Gates to sign the petition. But Smart Mark Sterling made a bad comment saying that Kevin Gates' music sucks. Gates then hopped the barricade and gave Tony Nese a nice right hand, and then Swerve threw the cake in Sterling's face, which I enjoy seeing food going into a wrestler's face, but at the end of the fucking day, I like me a chocolate cake. I don't like to see chocolate cake go to waste like that. That's not me. I'm not a guy that likes to see chocolate cake go to waste. I like me some chocolate cake. But that was pretty much it. I'm not sure what's going to happen here. I'm assuming we may get a one-on-one match with Tony Nese and either Swerve or Keith Lee, which I would not mind. One thing I would actually love to see, I would love to see Tony Nese recruit a partner. Maybe Tony Nese gets some assistance from Ari Daivari, formerly Aria Daivari. Maybe he recruits Parker Bordeaux. Maybe we see Parker Bordeaux and Tony Nese managed by Smart Mark Sterling, maybe we see them in a tag team. I mean, Parker Bordeaux, him matching up with Keith Lee, that would be interesting. Plus, we got Tony Nese in there, and Tony Nese is always great. I would love to see that. I think that would be good. Varsity Blondes. They took on Christian Cage and Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus did all the work. He absolutely destroyed the Varsity Blondes. He had a choke slam to Pillman, and then he choke slammed Garrison onto Pillman. And then Christian Cage, like the dick that he is, and I love it. Christian Cage, like the dick that he is, swooped on in, stole the pinfall. I love it. I love it. Absolutely great. Great shit. All of a sudden, Jungle Boy's music hits. He comes out with a chair. Glorious pop, by the way. He got a fucking pop. And I mean a fucking pop. Crowd was fucking loud for Jungle Boy. So after that, he approached Luchasaurus with a chair. And Luchasaurus just walked away. He let him go. I think this is great, actually. So then Jungle Boy chased Christian Cage into the crowd. This is great, actually, and I'll tell you why this is great. We're going to get Christian Cage and Jungle Boy at All Out. Great. Now, this is a big scenario because we could very well have Luchasaurus lure Jungle Boy into a false sense of security, and boom, Luchasaurus is going to turn on Jungle Boy at All Out and cost Jungle Boy the match. This is going to be fucking great. This is going to be fucking awesome. This is going to be some really, really, really good shit. And I cannot wait to see this. This is going to be fucking great. Really going to be good. And on top of that, this is going to make Jungle Boy into an even bigger babyface. We got Cole Carter, the former Troy Two Dimes Donovan. He made an appearance here. He fought Ricky Starks for the FTW Championship. Starks was toying with Cole Carter early on. Cole Carter sent Starks to the floor with a clothesline. Coming back from commercial, Cole Carter hit a TKO on Starks. He went up to the top. He was looking for the 450 splash, and he looked like he was going to nail the 450 splash just fine. But at the end, Starks moved. Cole Carter didn't do too bad, so I'll give him credit where credit's due. It was a nice little showcase match for Ricky Starks, and Cole Carter did his best to make Ricky Starks look okay. So good on him. So Cole Carter ended up catching a spear for his troubles, and Ricky Starks retains the FTW Championship. Starks then took the mic, and he said he wanted another match. All of a sudden, Danhausen, yes, very nice, very evil. He came out to challenge Mr. Ricky Starks for the FTW Championship. Hope you all like my Danhausen impersonation. So, Danhausen came out to challenge Ricky Starks for the FTW Championship. Starks then said, oh, no, I'm talking about next week. Don't worry. But next week, Starks and Danhausen for the FTW Championship. So Ricky Starks obviously backing off because, hey, he's a heel, and that's what heels do. This is great, and I'll tell you why this is great. This is a bridge. This is a bridge to get to Hook. Hook, if you remember a few weeks ago, Lexi Nair interviewed Hook about potentially challenging for a championship. Hook, he's not going to factor into a world title. He's not going to factor into a TNT title. He's not going to factor into a All-Atlantic Championship. What does Hook do from here? Simple. The FTW title. Hook and Danhausen, there's still a partnership. Hookhausen is still a thing. So now, what we're going to do, we're going to have Danhausen lay down for Ricky Starks, and Hook is going to get swooped on in, and we're going to get Hook joining this program, and Hook is going to be the one to take the championship off of Ricky Starks. Why? Because that was his father's championship. And the reason why I love this is because of the simple fact that Ricky Starks, he doesn't need the championship. Him and Powerhouse Hobbs, they should be fighting in the tag team division. I would love to have them as the team to take the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles off of FTR. They could be down there with the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. This is a great thing. This is a great thing to see. Hook winning that title with the popularity that Hook has generated, he is going to give the FTW championship that extra oomph that it needs. He's going to make it interesting. And Hook having the championship and doing open challenges, this is going to make Hook that much better off. Hook and Ricky Starks, this is going to be Hook's best match to date. This is going to be great. Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone interviewed FTR to talk about their rematch with the Briscoes, 2 out of 3 falls, which is taking place tonight. And I'm calling it right now. It could very well be the match of the year. So Cash talked about their match at Super Card of Honor, how it was a war, but he promised that they will not be losing this Saturday. Dax, this was a great story by Dax right here. Dax talked about a story of a little girl who had a hole in her heart. And over the years, if she worked hard, that hole would have closed. And the hole closed up. She kept on fighting. The hole closed up. He said that girl was his daughter. This got a big pop. Really, really good story. And he promised to beat the Briscoes' ass, top guys out. This is awesome. This is fucking awesome. And I cannot wait for this. This is going to be phenomenal. I'm telling you. If you thought the first match was good all the way back at Super Card of Honor, this match is going to be even better. Trust me on that. I see we got 21 likes on my channel. Again, if you could spare some, go over to the Hardcore Sports channel. We still just need one more to get to 20. I want to get to 20 on the Hardcore Sports channel. Just hit that like button. That's all I need. I need that like button to be smashed immediately. It is vital, people. So go over to the Hardcore Sports channel and smash that like button over there if you could, please. So from there, we go into women's tag team action. It is Jade Cargill and Kiera Hogan versus Willow Nightingale and Athena. This was actually a very good women's match. Pretty solid stuff right here. All 4 of these women looked very good here. Athena was in control before she tagged in Willow. Willow hit a flipping double blockbuster off the apron onto Jade Cargill and Kiera Hogan. Athena then with a crossbody over the top onto the pile. Coming back from commercial, Willow Nightingale mounted a comeback with a very nice spine buster for a 2. Jade and Athena came face to face. They actually had a very nice back and forth. Very nice back and forth over there by Jade and Athena. Jade with a fallaway slam on Athena. Athena then with a falling Meteora on Jade Cargill. We had a powerbomb by Athena to Kiera Hogan on the apron. Jade with a punt kick to Athena. Jade then tagged in, hit a Blue Thunder bomb on Willow for a 2. Jade then hit Jaded, and Jade wins, keeps her undefeated streak alive, gets the win over Willow Nightingale, and Jade Cargill continues to look impressive. Looks like we could be getting Athena and Jade Cargill sooner rather than later, and it should be a damn good fucking match. Maybe we get Chris Statlander, who knows, but Chris Statlander is still tied up with this. We'll see what happens, but I'm liking where they're going. This was a very good women's tag team match. All 4 women got the opportunity to shine. Athena looked good. Willow Nightingale looked good. Jade Cargill looked good. It was an overall solid match. Main event. Main event was Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho barbed wire everywhere match. They had barbed wire on the fucking microphone. This was fucking amazing. They had barbed wire on the fucking microphone that Justin Roberts was holding. Fucking unbelievable. Unbelievable. So Eddie Kingston, he took the barbed wire microphone from Justin Roberts. He just started hitting Jericho with it immediately. He was busted open early. The bell was also wrapped in barbed wire. Jericho was then sent into a barbed wire ropes, which was great. Eddie hit Jericho with the barbed wire wrapped chair. Jericho then had Kingston up top, and he Hurricane Ron'd Kingston from the middle rope into a barbed wire table. Coming back from commercial, Kingston was bleeding on his back. Kingston and Jericho were on the apron, and Eddie Kingston suplexed Jericho off the apron onto a barbed wire table. It looked brutal. Ty Conti then came out and assaulted Ruby Soho, who had the keys to the shark cage. Anna Jay then assisted Ty Conti. Yes, Anna Jay turned heel. And I think this could be a great thing going forward. I think that they're now going to focus more on Anna Jay. So then afterwards, she joined Ty Conti. She's a Jezebel, as JR would say. So they lowered the shark cage in which the JAS was suspended above. JAS got out of the cage, and the JAS attacked Kingston before Claudio, Ortiz, Wheeler Yuta, and Jon Moxley came out to assist. All of a sudden, Eddie Kingston with an exploder suplex through the barbed wire table. Jericho kicked out. Jericho with the code breaker, but Kingston came out. Or Kingston kicked out, rather. Kingston kicked out. Kingston then with the spinning back fist, but Jericho kicked out again. Kingston then got more barbed wire from underneath. He got more barbed wire from underneath the ring and locked in a stretch plum with the barbed wire around his hand. But Sammy Guevara then came out and he attacked and saved Jericho. Jericho then had his arm wrapped in barbed wire and he delivered a Judas effect to win the match. Really just came out of nowhere. It was a crazy fucking match. Crazy match. But the match, it did feel rushed. This could have definitely used a 5-minute overrun, that's for sure. This could have used an overrun, but it was still a crazy fucking match. The outcome, very, very surprising. I don't know why. I really don't know why we had, Kingston losing here. Really makes no sense if this was all supposed to get Eddie Kingston over. Very weird outcome. Jericho really did not need this. I love Jericho, but he didn't need this. Still a crazy match, but it was rushed. And the ending, I don't know what the fuck happened here. This was a very, very clunky ending here. Kingston then tried to fight back. There was a little bit of a botch. Jericho tripped into Sammy Guevara. Kingston tried to hit a spinning back fist. He didn't really hit the back fist. Sammy was then sent out of the ring. And Jericho was then sent off the apron through a barbed wire spider web, which again looked fucking brutal. That looked fucking brutal. But very, very clunky ending. I don't know what the fuck happened here. This was very, very off. Not a very good ending to what was otherwise a very good wrestling show. We got a lot of good material on Fyter Fest night number 2. But this ending really wasn't it. A very rushed match. Still a crazy match, but very rushed. And the ending, very clunky. I don't know what happened here. It was a little off. Obviously, everyone has their off days. They'll look to bounce back from it next week on Dynamite. But again, very, very odd. Very, very clunky. Very weird. I don't know what happened here, but not a very good look on the end. Jericho going through the barbed wire spiderweb was fine, but the botch in the end and then Kingston losing, not a very good look. I'm sorry. Dynamite's great as usual, but not a very good ending there. I don't know what happened there. That was AEW Dynamite Fyter Fest. Week number 2 kicked off in a big way. I see Danielle Wolf is here in the chat. Appreciate you. If you can, please go to the Hardcore Sports channel and hit the like button. We need one more like to get to 20 likes. That's right. One more like to get to 20 likes on the Hardcore Sports channel. If you can. We got 22 likes on my channel. Please go over to the Hardcore Sports channel. We just need one more like to get to 20 over there. And right now, I could use it because we're about to get into Rampage and then we're getting on out of here. But guys, thank you all once again. It's been a great stream. We've been having a good time. We've been celebrating the end of Vince McMahon's reign of tyranny as WWE CEO. A lot of good stuff has been happening. Social media is going crazy. I've been having a fun time. We've had a lot of interactive material here. And Hardcore Sports and DJ Storms, man, we go together like tacos and Tuesdays. But again, please make sure that you're liking the Hardcore Sports channel as well as my channel. It is extremely vital that you do so because it helps out Hardcore Sports every day of the week. Congratulations to Furious Nation. Furious Nation, have you liked the Hardcore Sports stream yet? I don't think you have. Bro. Go to the link in the description. Link in the description. You will see the Hardcore Sports YouTube channel. I'm live on there as well. Hit that like button over there. We just need one more like to get to 20. Same thing with you, Danielle Wolf. Same thing with you. But now we're going to get into Rampage. Rampage, which ended the Fyter Fest week. Rampage Fyter Fest Night 2. Not a bad show. Decent little show, but it really felt oversaturated. Really did feel oversaturated. They didn't really need to put all this shit into Rampage. But again, this is exactly why we need a 2-hour Rampage. This exactly is the problem with AEW right now. And it's not that they're putting on bad TV shows. It's just the fact that we need more hours of TV time. WWE is operating with 7 hours of TV time, and they only have a roster of skin and bones. No one gives a shit about their roster. Their roster is depleted. Meanwhile, AEW has the most stacked roster in wrestling right now, and they only have 3 hours of TV time. If both companies swapped time lengths, then I'm telling you right now, it would be a hell of a lot better for both WWE and AEW. Dynamite and Rampage, they just need more hours of TV time. They need a 5-minute overrun for Dynamite. They need 2-hour Rampage, and then they need a 1-hour Ring of Honor TV show. That's it. That's all they need. I believe they'll get that soon. But Rampage, we got a decent little show. Nothing really overly bad on the show. We had the Butcher and the Blade. They took on John Silver and Adam Hangman Page. This was a decent little match right here. Really nothing over the top. Nothing you're going to go back and rewatch. But it's the Butcher, the Blade, Hangman Page, and John Silver. So we're bound to get a good match. Page got the hot tag. He lit up the Butcher and the Blade. We had a Pescado on the Butcher. Tope Suicida on the Blade. We had a big diving lariat for a 2. The Butcher then drove Page into the barricade and the apron. Coming back from commercial, Page was worn down before John Silver got the hot tag. He hit a big running uppercut to the Blade, and then a big slam for a 2. The Butcher and the Blade with the assisted gut buster, and then the Blade hit a Doctor Bomb for a 2. Blade was bleeding pretty hard, so I'm not sure what happened there, but the Blade, he was sporting a cut right on the side of his head. Really good stuff right there. The Blade, he's a badass. Silver then tagged in Adam Page. The Blade was then sent to the floor. The Butcher and Page went back and forth with a couple of rolling elbow strikes. We had a rolling lariat by Page. Silver with a cannonball off the apron to the Blade. We had a stunner on the ropes by Page. German suplex by Silver. And then Adam Page hits the buckshot lariat. Great move right there. And Silver and Page get the win here. I'm glad that Adam Page is back on TV and he's back to winning matches. I don't know what they're going to do with Adam Page now, but I would definitely love to see him mix it up with, I don't know, I'd actually love to see him mix it up with maybe the Blackpool Combat Club. I'm not sure if they want to go that route. I'd love to see Adam Page down in Ring of Honor perhaps as well. Maybe we see Adam Page and Pac revisit their feud. And maybe Adam Page fights Pac for the All-Atlantic Championship. Who knows? Who knows? Claudio Castagnoli. Claudio Castagnoli, he came out to address his match with Jonathan Gresham. Pretty basic promo, but a decent promo nonetheless. Solid little promo right here. Really nothing over the top here, but it was a solid little promo. So Claudio Castagnoli, he came out. He talked about how the world title has eluded him, but he's believed he's the best because you all believed in me. Gresham, you believe that you're the best wrestler in the world. And, you know, it is easy for you to think that because you have never stepped into the ring with Claudio Castagnoli. You may call yourself the foundation, but that foundation is about to be cracked because no one can hold a candle to what I can do in this ring. And I can't think of a better way to begin this new chapter than on Saturday. I am Claudio goddamn Castagnoli, your new Ring of Honor World Champion. Solid little promo right here, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what we have going on here. We are in for an excellent main event with Claudio and Jonathan Gresham. And I'm predicting right now we see a new Ring of Honor world champion, and it's going to be fucking great. Lee Moriarty and Dante Martin. Another decent little match right here between the two. Both of these two are two hot young prospects in AEW, and I'm very happy to see that Lee Moriarty and Dante Martin are getting a showcase on Rampage. We got very nice back and forth counters between Lee and Dante early on. Lee was trying to pour on that aggression. Really good stuff right here. We had a nice pop-up drop kick by Dante. Lee then regained control, and Lee Moriarty was on the receiving end of a Frankensteiner off the middle rope coming back from commercial before Stokely Hathaway then came out. Really good stuff right there. We got Lee Moriarty with the Border City Stretch, which is very similar to the Gargano Escape. Very similar to the Gargano Escape is the Border City Stretch. Dante then grabbed the ropes. We had a half and half Nelson spin slam by Dante, which looked very nice. Dante is really amping up his arsenal a little bit. I like what they're doing with Dante. Really good stuff right there. So Moriarty got a roll-up, and he grabbed the ropes with his hands on the ropes. Really, really good stuff right there, because it looks like Lee Moriarty could be turning to the dark side. But what's interesting is this. Seidel then challenged Lee Moriarty to a match on Rampage Fight for the Fallen next week. But we also had Stokely attempting to give Lee Moriarty his business card, but Lee Moriarty did not accept. What's going on there? I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. We're going to have to wait and see, but I'm liking where they're going. I think Lee Moriarty in for a heel turn. We could very well see Lee Moriarty amp up a little bit. I'd love to see him on Ring of Honor. I think Lee Moriarty would be great on Ring of Honor. Same thing with Dante Martin. They'd be great. So that was a nice little showcase right there. Also, what was a good showcase was Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter versus Sky Blue and Ashley Auboise. Now, you want to know what I love about this the most? You want to know what I love about this the most? What I love about this the most is the fact that Tony Khan, he does listen to the fans. And he's been taking note of what people have been saying about Britt Baker, how she's the AEW Charlotte Flair. So what does Tony Khan do? Tony Khan has scaled Britt Baker back, and he's putting her in a different role to help get others over. He realized he fucked up with Britt Baker winning the Owen Hart Cup tournament. So what did he do? He had Ruby Soho get her revenge, and Ruby Soho pinned Britt Baker in that tag team match all the way back on Dynamite at the beginning of June. Right there. She put over Ruby Soho, clean as a whistle. And then a few weeks later, she put over Toni Storm, clean as a whistle. 1, 2, 3. Then she took a few weeks off. She's not being overexposed. She took a few weeks off, and now she's here in this tag team, and she's helping get Jamie Hayter over. This is a great thing. This is a great thing because now Britt Baker is in a position where she's transferring that credibility that she built as the women's champion to everyone else. That right there is a brilliant thing to see. And that's what I love about what Tony Khan is doing. He knows what the fans want. He knows what the fans don't want. He has his finger on the pulse, and he knows how to book his stars. If he makes a mistake, he does what he can to rectify that mistake. And that is what I love. It is a beautiful thing to see. It's a great thing to see. Really, really good thing to see. And I'm immensely happy, very, very happy that we had Britt Baker in this position, and now she's putting over other talent. She put over Ruby. She put over Toni. Now she's transferring that star power to Jamie Hayter. And when Jamie Hayter eventually branches out on her own and she does her own thing away from Britt Baker, this is going to make Jamie Hayter into a bigger star. And I love that. So good on Tony Khan. So Hayter looked great. Hayter then with a backbreaker, Britt with a butterfly suplex, and Britt won the match for her team with the lock jaw. Britt helping out the other stars now is a great thing to see. Furious Nation, thank you very much for subscribing to the Hardcore Sports channel. If you haven't liked the video over there, I know Danielle already did. Please make sure you like that video over there as well. So, we got a promo package for Ari Daivari, the former Arya Daivari. So, I'm liking this. I'm very much liking this. Really, really good stuff right there. I'm liking this. And Arya Daivari, I would definitely put him on Ring of Honor. I think he's actually competing on Ring of Honor. I think it's Cole Carter and Arya Daivari, the Trust Busters, if I'm not mistaken. Please, someone look that up for me. I'm going to have to take a look. I'll find out tonight for 0 hour. But I'm definitely liking what we have over here for Arya Daivari. I think Arya Daivari is great at what he does, and he absolutely was shafted. Arya Daivari, I'm not saying he was going to be a world champion, but I mean, if you couldn't find something in the mid-card for Arya Daivari, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. Seriously. We had a rap battle between Austin Gunn and Max Caster. Lil Scrappy, no idea who the fuck Lil Scrappy was, but he was the judge. The Gunn Club, they were up first. Austin Gunn, he actually had a pretty decent amount of raps here. He goes, "I'm not scared of you, mister. Why would I be scared of one of Bobby Lashley's sisters? You dated Chris Stat. Let me tell you where you went wrong with that. I'll give you a teaser. Edward Scissorhands over here couldn't please her." That was actually very good right there. He goes, "Your daddy's Rich Caster, but let's talk about which daddy's career ended faster. Your dad was tight end. Bowens, is that giving you a fever? When you play, is that why you're always the wide receiver?" This was actually very good. I got to give Austin Gunn credit there. So Max Caster, he was actually on top of his fucking game. He absolutely destroyed Austin Gunn here. The flow of his raps was great. Caster talked about how Austin's rap voice is why they call him the Ass Boys. Caster then heard Austin say, "I'd say stick to rap, but you ain't even good at that. Also, John Cena wants his gimmick back." Caster then said, "I'm a star player. I'm young. I'll serve you and your chick with my awesome tongue." Caster then went into a long rap and ended with paying for Austin Gunn's hair replacement surgery. He talked about Austin Gunn's failure to try out for Ring of Honor, and Tony Khan had to burn all the footage. Fucking great. Fucking love Max Caster. So Austin Gunn was then stuttering. He was choking. Bones would say, "Oh my God, he's choking." And the Acclaimed ended up winning before we get a big brawl. And the Gun Club stood tall here, so I'm guessing we're going to get the Gun Club and the Acclaimed sooner rather than later. And we will inevitably see the Acclaimed go over the Gun Club, and the Acclaimed will continue their ascent above the tag team division as top-tier babyfaces. Main event was Jay Lethal and Christopher Daniels, two former Ring of Honor World Television Champions. Both men went right after each other. It's a solid little match right here to close out Rampage. Daniels with a nice heel kick. Lethal then came back with a tope suicida. Coming back from commercial, Lethal was in control before Daniels came back with a backslide for a 2. We had a cartwheel drop kick by Lethal. Daniels got caught with a super kick. He mounted a comeback with a nice STO and a Blue Thunder Bomb for a 2. Lethal combination, he hit a big boot. And then Lethal hit the Lethal Injection. And Lethal got the 1-2-3 victory. He attacked Christopher Daniels afterwards, all leading up to his match against Samoa Joe tonight at Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor. And I'm very much looking forward to Jay Lethal, because Jay Lethal, I'm predicting, is going to be our new Ring of Honor World Television Champion, because Jay Lethal is fucking awesome in this new heel role. Love me some Jay Lethal. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that you want me to stick around for a little bit longer, but unfortunately, that is all that I have. That is all that I have, and that is it for the Lightning Flash update this week. You guys were fucking awesome from start to finish here, and I'm very, very pleased that you guys are DJ Storm supporters. One more time, people, Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow, share, retweet, leave a comment. Check out all the links in the description. If you missed the rundown for Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor, here's what I want everyone to do. Everyone who has not liked the rundown for Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor, go and check that in the description. It's on the Hardcore Sports channel as well. Hit the like button on my channel. Hit the like button on the Hardcore Sports channel, because everyone needs to know that DJ Storms is number one. It's great to be great. It must suck to suck. Shout out to Pat McAfee right there. But people, you guys have been great. Thank you very much. We just hit 130 subscribers on the Hardcore Sports channel. That's what DJ Storms is all about. We always bring in more supporters. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of the Lightning Flash Update. Thank you all once again. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe, share out the stream. Keep on telling everyone about DJ Storms. You guys have been great from start to finish. Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, Dee Dee. Thank you, Furious Nation. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you, DJ Storms, Earl Cole, AK Eagles. Thank you, everyone, for coming on in and joining the stream. You guys were great. Until next time, I'm DJ Storms. This has been the LFU. Don't forget, tomorrow, rewind for Death Before Dishonor at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Mitch Kofsky's coming back on the channel, coming back on my show for the rundown for SummerSlam. We also got the LFU next week, and then next Sunday, we got none other than the rewind for SummerSlam 2022 at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Battle of the Belts rundown on August 4th at 7:30, and the Battle of the Belts rewind at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, August 9th. We're going to have a large, busy week. Do not forget to get everything gathered up. And August 11th, Thursday, I'm joining Earl Cole once again back on the channel for the wrestling experience. It is going to be a damn fun time, and we're going to have a party like we always do. Until next time, I just have one last question, people. There's only one last question that I have, and it's the most important question of them all, people. The most important question of them all, people. Who runs the IWC? Who but who could it be? Who could it be? I'll tell you who. Who but DJ motherfucking Storms. I'll catch you tomorrow.